Happy Thursday, weirdlings! Nothing sets the mood for Halloween like a good horror movie. You can't help but jump off the couch with every loud noise when you're watching one, especially when the lights are down low and your heart's racing. But some Halloween movies wash away like fake blood on a costume, while others creep into your bones and stick around forever. So whether it's gritty revenge fantasies, werewolves, killer clowns, or sadistic rock stars, tonight we're talking about our favorite Halloween movies. Hi, I'm Hadley Thorne, and tonight Alan Scott and I have a special guest hosting in place of Rich Restucci, our friend Cecil Fletcher. You may know him from his work on the Weird and the Folk podcast, Weird Awakenings, or maybe from Kentucky's Post Office Most Wanted posters. Before we begin, please like, subscribe, and follow so you can stay up to date on all the great content the weird kids are putting out. Now grab your popcorn and Coke while I pass the reins to Alan. Hey, Alan.
Good evening. Good evening, you three. Cecil, it's nice to see you. I haven't seen you in a while.
It's
I know you've
been
been out there. Yeah. It has been a minute.
I like your t-shirt.
Thank you. I stole it.
It fits. It fits him. Hey, and Cecil's got his special movie, Wolf of Snow Hollow tonight. He's gonna break it down painstakingly for an hour and a half after the show. So
the good news is I'm going to go visit Tully on this next weekend, and I'm taking it so we can have a special screening.
I
love that. Popcorn with the hole in the box. Hey, Tony, how you doing? Okay, tonight, our movies that put us in the mood for Halloween. And tonight we have All Hallows Eve, Trick or Treat, The Crow, and Dog Soldiers. These are movies that the four of us enjoy this time of the year, but I have a feeling that Scott and Cecil probably enjoy some of these all year round.
Oh, yeah. That's very true.
I mean, there's a ton of movies to pick from. That's the great thing about the Halloween season is especially nowadays, Blumhouse, Rob Zombie, people are just chugging out the horror, which is great because for a while we went through a dry spell of getting horror movies and getting decent horror movies. I mean, maybe 4 out of 10 are probably pretty decent nowadays, and that's a good score, I think, on scary movies.
I think that you're aiming a little low.
You think I'm aiming low? Well, I don't know.
I don't think there's more than 4 out of 10.
You think so?
Yeah.
Well, that's just my opinion, Hallie, and you know what they say about opinions. Everybody has one. Evening, Tony. Good to see you. So who wants to start out tonight? Not me. I don't want to start out tonight. So here we go. You got to say not it. Ready? Not it.
All right, I'll start out tonight. Tony, hello. Ash.
Hey, everybody.
Hello. Yeah, but inappropriate glory is the best way. If you're going to go glory hole. All right.
Go full glory hole, huh?
I picked my favorite Halloween movie and one of my top 10 favorite movies of all time. The 2007, was it 2007 or 2015, Trick or Treat.
Oh, so I watched the wrong movie. But luckily, I'm very familiar with this one. So
okay. It's written and directed by Michael Dougherty. You know him. He wrote and directed Godzilla, King of the Monsters, X-Men Apocalypse. He's got some really good street creds to his name. Movie is a short movie, hour and 22 minutes, but you're never bored through this movie. Takes place in Warren Valley, Ohio. Sleepy little town. its big claim to fame is on Halloween. Everybody comes from miles around. They dress up. The streets are filled with people in costumes. It is like Mardi Gras, except for us weird folks.
I watched the wrong movie.
Yeah,
I
did
wondered
too.
I
because
watched the wrong movie.
because you put the wrong movie in the.
She put
You
in
should
the
have
Trick or
told
Treat
me.
1986. I was like, that's the one. That's the rock and roll one, right?
I thought surely he didn't do the recent one. God always picks old movies.
Don't call me
No,
Shirley.
this one was the. Well, you got to watch this one. It is an anthology movie.
It's awesome.
5 stories. Each story is connected by. You've all seen the pictures of him. The young kid in the orange jumpsuit with the kid with the lollipop and the burlap bag on his head. Sam. I think it's short for Sam Hain Halloween. And as I said, it's an anthology. And each anthology, 2007, thank you. Each anthology is tied to the next one. It's not like some of like the Tales from the Crypt where each story is different. And that's what makes this movie fascinating. Opens up with a young couple, Anne and Henry. He's a Halloween fanatic. He goes for the costumes. He goes for the dressing up, all the pumpkins out front. Anne is one of those normal people who doesn't like Halloween. She goes along to placate him. And at the end of the night, while he's waiting for her, watching a porno movie, she's out there ripping down all the Halloween decorations. That pisses off Sam, who doesn't like it. Halloween is sacred. There are consequences. The next story, I'm not going to tell anybody what happens in these because every one of these, I think about 4 of the 5 stories have really surprise endings. I was taken aback by all of them. The next story deals with 4 young women who came to the town. Danielle, a very attractive blonde, her 2 friends, Maria and Janet, and they go out trick-or-treating to find guys to spend the night with. Danielle brings with her this time her sister, Laurie, played by Anna Paquin. Laurie's a virgin. Laurie has never done this anymore. So she's out there, she's trying to get over her shyness and not being able to talk to guys. And she's trying to find a guy so she can meet up with her sister and her friends out in the field somewhere where they can have this big party where they can celebrate with the guys. Problem with Laurie, the only guy that's really interested in her is some psycho wacko that dresses up like a vampire and goes around sucking the blood, biting women and killing them. Next story, one of my favorites, involves the principal of the Warren Valley High School, Steve Wilkins, played by Dylan Baker, does a fantastic job.
He's kind of typecast.
Huh?
Yeah. He's kind of typecast.
Yeah, but I mean, in this one, he was perfect. Yeah. And he's the principal of the high school, and he comes home and he finds this kid, Charlie. Charlie is the Hollywood stereotypical asshole. He's the young kid. He goes up and says, take one kid, big, fat kid, looks chocolate on his face. He grabs all the candy out of the bowl. Mr. Wilkins comes home, catches him. They sit down on the front porch. They start talking. You find out that Principal Wilkins has some really deep, dark secrets and some really deep, dark emotional problems. But you have to watch the movie. His next door neighbor is Mr. Krieg, Brian Cox, brilliant role. Mr. Krieg is this grumpy, old, mean son of a bitch. He hates Halloween. He hates children. He's the only house in the whole neighborhood who doesn't have decorations out. If the kids come to the door, he scares them away and laughs at it. Him and Mr. Wilkins have a few interactions, but he has something. He gets a visit that night by Sam, which is a very terrifying visit. And the last one, and this is my favorite story, involves 5 high school kids. Macy, who is this complete bitch, her friend Sarah, and Chris, I think the kid, and Schrader. And what they do is they go to the house of this girl, Rhonda, who they call the idiot savant. She's very smart, but extremely shy, very introverted. And they're looking for 8 pumpkins. They bring the 8 pumpkins to the quarry. And Macy tells the story of the Halloween school bus massacre. This is the creepiest story I've ever seen. The way it's taped, the cinematography is brilliant in a flashback. But it's about this school bus driver who used to drive 8 mentally developmental children to daycare every day. And the parents got tired. The parents just couldn't put up with it. It was an emotional drain. It was an embarrassment. So they paid him. They all got together and gave him money if he would, on Halloween, drop the bus into the quarry with the kids in it and free them. And he accepts the money. You know, what sadistic son of a bitch wouldn't? He accepts the money, agrees to do this, but there are major consequences. It doesn't go as planned. So the kids go there. Macy tells the story. She says they're going to go down and they're going to put the 8 pumpkins around the bottom of the quarry where the pool is to pay tribute to them. Things do not go as planned. It starts going downhill, and it just rapidly goes downhill until there's a very twist ending to it. The 4 stories, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stories. Like I said, they're all intertwined with each other. Everyone touches on another story brilliantly. I love the movie. It's great. All the acting is the 5 kids that do the Halloween school bus massacre are great actors and actresses. Brian Cox is so good in this one. Dylan Baker is just as sick and twisted as he is. You gotta love the guy. And Anna Paquin, one of her best roles. It's twist, it's turn, it's humor. You will not be bored with it. If you're bored with this movie, you probably shouldn't be watching us. You should be watching the view. So what did you guys think? Those of you that watched the right movie.
Well, let me give a shout out to Ash. Let me give a shout out to Ashhole, Alan Lassiter, Mike Lewis, and Joe Hansen, who just joined us. And Mark Eady. Sorry, Mark. Well, I can tell now. Rich isn't here tonight, so I can tell.
Hey,
Wait a
Landa.
minute. We have. Hey, Landa. We have Landa. I was going to say this turned into a sausage fest, so we know who the ladies' man is Rich. He's not here.
Well,
if it's a sausage fest, what does that say about Hallow?
Yeah, right. Facebook, they kind of hid where the live stuff goes now. So I wanted to make sure. I just sent out that we're on YouTube, so that's the link that I shared. So we should get some more folks. Hopefully, someone more than me and Landa will be the only people here that don't that don't have sausage.
One more thing I want to add about the movie. The best part about this movie, it was done by Warner Brothers, Legendary, and Bad Hat Productions, but it was made as a direct-to-DVD film. This never hit the theaters. This never had a big gross. It opened in places like Latvia, and the only place I think it actually hit the movie theaters was Latvia in 2015. This movie became an overnight cult classic. People watched this just by word of mouth. This became the Halloween movie to watch. It is so good that they're talking about releasing it this year as a theatrical production.
Really?
And they're in the pre-production of the second Trick or Treat.
Wow. Well, this had a pretty eclectic cast. You had Dylan Baker, Tomoa Pinkett from Battlestar Galactica. What's her name? Anna Paquin, Brian Cox, which is always great. And Leslie Bibb, she does a lot of comedy. You know, she's in a lot of comedy movies. I thought Anna Paquin's acting in this was pretty bad. I did. I thought her acting was not up to par, you know. I didn't enjoy this as much as you did. And I know when I was watching it and there was that scene in her little what do you call it, story?
Yeah.
And I thought, I know why Scott picked this.
No, it's not. It's not because she looked really great in the Snow White outfit.
Yeah.
That was a plus.
This is a good. It's a good movie to rev you up to Halloween, definitely, and it had some pretty cool things. The little Sam Hain guy with his broken Halloween sucker, and I used to get those suckers when I was a kid. I could just, you could just taste it, because that was the atypical Halloween sucker, that orange pumpkin. Apparently,
got your number, Alan.
Snark. Yeah, I watched this one, and like I said, it's a good. Yeah, she did. She played Rogue in the X-Men movies, Mike. I wanted to like it. The Brian Cox episode, and I love Brian Cox. Better be careful how I say that.
You love Brian Cox?
Brian.
To each his own.
He was hanging out with Brian.
Yeah, I knew it would have said it. Was boring. I thought his episode was boring. Scott,
really?
It bored me. Yeah, I just wanted him to be done. Do it. To be done. But the end of that episode was cool. But I mean, you figured out what was going on. What he was doing in the fireplace. I told my wife, "Aha, he's," and he was.
Don't give anything away.
Well, who loves? Yeah, I love chicken. So anyway,
I'm chicken.
This was okay for me. It was okay. Sorry, Scott.
No problem. I'd ask Hadley, but she watched the wrong movie.
I watched the wrong movie, and the one I watched sucked. But it had Simmons and Ozzy Osbourne in it.
You didn't like that one? That's the one I watched too, but I also watched this one because this is one of my wife's favorite movies.
Is it?
So this gets played 3 or 4 times a month in October and throughout the year. The thing that I love about this movie is it is an anthology, but it's like,
I forgive you.
It's one story technically, but it just has these individual stories within the same story.
Mm.
Like everything kind of ties together. Like you see characters from other stories in this, and like something's happening over here. That was the first story. It's really well made, I think, and I like it a lot. It's definitely in the top 5. Little Sam.
I did like the tie-in. I did like the tie-ins, and like I said, it's a good Halloween movie. To get you ready for the season. It is good that way. I didn't like it as much as most people.
And a little bit of trivia. Remember in the scene with the 4 women when they were in they were in the dressing rooms changing? Remember the little boy that was looking through, licking the lollipop, watching him get undressed? That's the actor who played Sam.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Quinn Ladd.
Wow.
So it's kind of ironic that they had him playing a perverted boy sucking a lollipop, and then for the rest of the movie, he plays a psychotic boy sucking a lollipop.
That's funny.
Yeah.
And the character that Scott referenced as a fat little boy with cake, I just feel a personal connection with him. That's usually me.
Yeah, but that kid deserves what he gets.
Wasn't that the kid from Bad Santa too?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't seen that.
Ain't he the little blonde-haired kid that played in Bad Santa with Billy Bob?
I don't know. I have to look that up.
But
you gotta look that up, Alan.
Yeah, I'll look it up. The special effects in it were good.
Yeah,
it was really good. That way, I thought, especially the bus episode.
Oh my God, yeah, the cinematography on that. The scene when he's walking down, and the kids are all in these eerie 1950s, 60s style costumes that look so bizarre.
So do we not do spoilers on here? Or?
No, we're not doing spoilers. You have not seen this. When
You could
I
do them
saw-
on your you could do them on your movie, but if it's if like Scott says no, yeah, you could do it on your own.
I mean,
movie,
this is
which
one of those
fine.
movies. I did not see the ending of most of these coming.
No.
You know, and it was like just when I thought, oh yeah, I know what's going to happen. Oh, I like that ending, so I don't want to ruin it.
That was the kid from Bad Santa.
It was okay.
Brett Kelly. Yes, that was the kid.
It's crazy to see him in two different parts like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, thank you, Mike.
Four Ash gives it 4 dongs.
I'd give it 4 rock hard dongs.
5 Viagra-filled dongs for this movie. This gets a 5 for me. This is one of those few movies that to me is perfect.
I'd
Well,
give
I will watch
3.
it later tonight because
Yeah.
I'll never get that hour and a half back.
Well,
from the-
Hadley, if you remember when we was talking after Weird Awakenings last week, I was like, the movie you really need to watch is Trick or Treat.
Uh-huh.
This is it.
I'll watch it.
I'll give it 3 middle of the nights. I gotta go pee dongs.
About 4 of them at that time, yeah.
That's also Mike. John Carpenter's Vampires is one of my favorite vampire movies,
That
I
is a
love
good
it.
movie.
and one of my favorite James Woods movies.
It's probably my favorite James Wood movie, to be
Oh,
honest.
really?
Yeah.
The bad guy in The Crow is the vampire in that one, I believe.
Yeah, I think so. I was recognizing him from
Oh,
somewhere.
see, I remember the vampire, the bad guy in The Crow as the sheriff of Nottingham.
Yeah, yeah. He was the sheriff. of
He's
Nottingham.
he's very evil looking.
Yep.
So
He
wait a minute,
doesn't-
you're saying that the guy that was in The Crow was the big tall vampire, the
Yeah.
pack leader? I'll have to rewatch that and look.
Yeah. He didn't have to change costumes much in that.
No, he didn't.
No.
Hey, you got that black wig? Yeah, come on, being vampires. Then. All right. Speaking of The Crow, let's hop over to Hadley's The Crow.
Yay! Okay, I've got a lot written for this. Well, not a lot, but okay. So this Halloween, I recommended the cult classic movie The Crow, based on the Caliber comic series. This movie has a special place in my heart, and I'm sure if you're a '90s kid, you probably remember it. From the gritty imagery to the soundtrack, I still have the soundtrack. And y'all know I usually write with music. There's usually at least one song from this soundtrack that'll make it when I'm writing a book. For those unfamiliar with The Crow, let me give you a brief overview. In The Crow, it's based on a fictional undead vigilante who returns to life to avenge his murder and death. Now, in the movie, the scenario that they're taking is that he's murdered while his fiance is murdered and raped and all in the same room. He gets thrown out the window. It's very, very tragic. But what you don't know is that the guy, American artist James Barr, who was the creator for this comic book series, this was like a narrative therapy for him.
Oh.
The original book was one of the first mega hit independent comics, selling nearly 1 million copies, and it's several languages of publication. It's gone on to be in several feature films, a television series, spin-off novels, and of course the comics. Now, in the movie, Brandon Lee plays the character. He is a rock musician named Eric Draven. He's murdered. His fiancée, Shelley's beaten, raped, left for dead. We covered that. Their wedding was going to be the next day. This happened on October 30th, which is Devil's Night. And they were going to get married on Halloween. Well, 1 year later, a crow has traveled to the world of the dead and brings back Eric's soul so that he can seek revenge on those responsible. I love this whole setup that we're going through. I love revenge movies. This is great. I'm not really going to get into it because, again, it's, revenge. We've got the setup there. If you want to watch it, trust me, you will like it. Well, you might not. I don't know. One of the big things about this movie is that the main star, Brandon Lee, there was a tragic event that happened on the set, and he was killed during the making of this film. So there was a big controversy over whether it would ever have been released or not. So his mother and I believe the girlfriend that he had at the time of his death, they were really instrumental, and they were able to release and cut this film so that Brandon Lee remained the star of the film.
Right.
But on a weird aspect, there's also several legends surrounding the death and their curse on the Lee family. And Bruce Lee was, of course, Brandon Lee's father, and he died during the shooting of his last film, Enter the Dragon. So there's just a little bit of tidbit for you there. Another bit of trivia is that Fun Boy, the thug played by Michael Massey, I think that's how you say his name,
Yeah.
that he was the one who he would never came up on charges or anything for this, but he was the one responsible for the death of Brandon Lee.
Right.
Which, like I said, I think what happened was there was a realistic small explosive charge that was triggered during the shot, and a fragment of the dummy bullet hit Brandon Lee, and it would prove to be fatal.
Now, on that scene with Fun Boy, he wasn't supposed to shoot him. Alex Proyas, the director, changed that at the last minute.
Dum, dum, dum.
He wasn't supposed to shoot Brandon Lee, and he thought, oh well, let's have him shoot him. So I mean, that could have not happened.
Well, this goes on to change gun safety standards in film.
Right.
And did you know that Michael Massey claimed to have nightmares about the incident, and in his death in 2016, he'd still never watched the film. He was just traumatized by the incident.
I think he didn't act for like a year or something after that happened.
He never really went back to his, because you used to see him and stuff like pre The Crow, but he never really went back to acting either.
No, he just had.
Well, it's going to be traumatic when something like that happens.
Yeah. Well, look at Alec Baldwin. Wait a minute.
Yeah, but he's not even traumatic about it. He's out there trying to make excuses for everybody but himself. So
I want to say something real quick.
On, Alec.
Ashel had a point. He didn't play the vampire in Vampires. It was the guy from
Cobra Kai. Yeah.
So,
they do look alike, though. They both have that kind of sinister look.
He was, though, in Robin Hood and the Three Musketeers is a bad guy. So,
that makes up for it.
No, that's right. It was the Three Musketeers.
Right, damn it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I do want to point out, though, that yes, not Christopher Lee, Bruce Lee and Brandon Lee died in the last films they made. They died. That's the last films they made. Just had to say it. Had to be the answer.
You mean like the last place you look is where you find it?
You continue looking. I found the keys. Let me check the desk.
Yeah. Well, the film was estimated to have cost around $23 million, and it only grossed worldwide about 50. And they think that it would have done better if it hadn't been for the whole weird stuff surrounding the death of Brandon Lee.
Wow.
And I think it was, I want to say Paramount is the one that originally was going to release it, and then they wouldn't, and Miramax picked it up. And now, in the last couple of years, Paramount's picked back up the rights because they've acquired Miramax.
Okay.
I feel like the shooting death helped it. Really, I mean, that being like a big thing. My cousin paid $100 for the VHS before it hit the stores or whatever.
Well, that's what I remember mostly about it, Cecil. It was all the talk about how he died and how he shouldn't have died, and it was a movie about coming back to life and revenge. I knew more about the shooting than I did about the movie.
Right,
and it's the most enduring Halloween costume ever. Like, you still see people painting up as the Crow.
Well, that's another interesting fact was that he did his own makeup. They didn't like the way the makeup artist made him look, so they got him to do it himself, and then he kept it on. So he didn't have to reapply it every day. He would just that's why it looks more worn throughout the movie.
Oh wow.
But I had seen art for the Crow for years. I mean, I love some of these fantasy artists, and I just love the imagery and all. And it's a beautiful story, and like I said, I love it. It's Halloween-ish, but I love revenge films. I think that's probably my favorite. It's just people.
And technically, he was a zombie too, wasn't he? Like he was a zombie. That's what he was.
Oh yeah.
Raised from the dead. And he was what was he? Do you really think he wasn't technically a zombie, but he's raised from
Ash,
the
that's
dead?
way too much to read. It's gonna take me 10 minutes home to get my reader.
I took it as he was just necromanced.
Like the Spawn or something. Like
Yeah, he
Spawn.
was
No.
brought. He was
No,
brought
no.
down. He wasn't a zombie. He was just an immortal killing machine. And I just assumed that the minute he completed his task, he'd go back to heaven.
No, the crows are messengers between the worlds, and so the crow went because of the tragedy surrounding their death and the end of their love, and the crow goes and it gets his soul and brings it back for vengeance.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it wasn't anything about the undead. It was just that, he's a soul that's been brought back
Yeah.
to carry out this mission. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful story.
It is pretty.
I know y'all are. I thought they're gonna hate it.
Well, I'll
I've never
tell you, Ash Hole has been pushing this movie on me for like 30 years, and it just never appealed to me. I was like, yeah, I'll watch it, and I never did. I am so mad at myself for not watching this earlier. I loved this movie. I thought it was great. I thought the villains, the actors who played them were just psychotic, narcissistic, sociopathic assholes. The head villain was great. I mean, I love a good bad guy, so that way you can enjoy watching him die. This movie was good. I really wished I'd watched it earlier. Ash, I will listen to you when it comes to movies more frequently.
Score,
But
Ash.
it was definitely one of the 3 good movies we watched this week.
Well, Tony I said the sequels were horrible. I mean, this movie didn't
Yeah.
need sequels. It was done. It had a beginning and an ending. And the cast in this, Michael Wincott, Brandon Lee, Bai Ling, Tony Todd,
Is that the
Ernie
Candyman?
Candyman, and David Patrick Kelly, warriors come out to play.
Well, the criminals in it, I mean, they really looked like criminals. Sometimes you just have some guys that kind of, they kind of dress them up and look that way, but these guys look seedy.
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
They did. I mean, and then you had what's his name from Ghostbusters playing the cop?
Yeah, Ernie Hudson.
Ernie Hudson. That guy's in everything.
I love him. He's great.
He's great. But did he die at the end? So you don't know.
He did.
I guess it depends on how you look at it, because the comic book series continued.
Yeah.
So.
The sequels suck, though. All the sequels blew.
Yeah, it didn't need to have sequels. It didn't. And Scott, I'm like you. I had never seen this until now. I just
Are you serious? I got y'all both in the same movie? Oh my goodness.
I'd never seen it before. I saw Rapid Fire with Brandon Lee. Was the only Brandon Lee movie I'd ever seen, and that was okay. Standard action flick. So I didn't really care. But I watched it. It was very eerie, and the Devil's Night and all. It was like alternative to Batman.
Well, it has that kind of apocalyptic feel, and it has that gritty underbelly, and it does kind of have a Batman, but it's like the poor man's Batman, I guess.
Yeah.
Always raining, but it can't rain all the time.
Thanks, Cecil. I was trying to figure out how to put that in there too.
I do have one bone to pick with it. Okay, it happens year after their deaths, right? And they go back into the apartment. The apartment hasn't been looted, and the cat's still there.
I know. I was like, what the heck's up with the cat?
Is he
I guess that little girl was maybe taking care of it.
Maybe.
Well, I don't know. She says, "Oh, I haven't seen you." When she goes in there, and it's me, but maybe. But that's the only thing I have. The only bone I have to pick with that.
Yeah, Tony, I was saying dystopian feel. It did. It did.
It did. It's current day.
I was really worried they were going to be mad at me because I was like, it is kind of
girly.
It is that.
No,
Yeah.
I don't think it's girly.
But, I mean,
I mean,
I love
it's-
the soundtrack. I mean, I tell y'all, I mean, the soundtrack is awesome. It's got my favorite song pretty much of all times, which is Burned by The Cure. If you haven't heard it, go listen to it, read the words, the lyrics. It's amazing. But Trent Reznor did the soundtrack for this movie.
Oh,
So it's
okay.
got some real edgy stuff. I mean, this soundtrack introduced me to Henry Rollins. He does a song on it called Ghost Rider. And then you have Jesus and Loves Mary Jane, and I'd never heard of them. So I mean, it introduced me to some really great bands that went on to become very much shape me as a musical person, I guess, going forward. But yeah, I love it.
It was had a great vibe to it
Yeah.
for what it was. Very 90s though. Very 90s. I thought Matthew
Stone
Perry was
Temple
going to come
Pilots.
out dancing around a waterfall at one time.
Yep.
It was very 90s. You know what I mean? It had that 90s feel to it. It just
Yeah.
But the
But-
good part of the 90s, not the
The
Yeah,
dystopian part of that.
yeah.
Yeah, well, if you're a fan of Friends,
It was, to me, it was like a dystopian death wish. I loved it.
Yeah.
The idea of him coming back and just brutalizing the guys that raped and murdered his
yeah.
wife. Love that.
I like when he falls, that first fall he takes where he just goes like he fell out the window, and he takes that fall and he lands and he's on his back and he's laughing
Well,
maniacally.
there were
and then-
little details in this that I just really appreciated. And one of those would be that, like, when he was coming out of the grave, and it wasn't easy. He was in a lot of pain. He was, it wasn't just like, oh, look, I'm beautiful and here I am. Because Brandon Lee getting hard on the eyes. But, it showed that there was some struggle there.
Right.
And then it took him a while to kind of come into his, I guess, power, so to speak. But yeah. But I mean, it's they just don't make comic book movies like this.
No.
They
No.
really need
No.
to.
And the pawn shop owner, Joe Polito, he always plays that role,
Oh, slimy.
that slimy dude, and that was a good scene too.
Didn't he play the penguin sometime?
I don't know if he did or not. I swear he's
He
in a
should have
zombie
if he
movie.
hadn't.
I thought he was in a Romero movie, but I could be wrong. Anybody, Ashhole, you know everything. I thought he
Landa's
was-
saying she would have been extra disappointed if you guys didn't like the movie, and Tony's saying totally Landa because we know. Apparently, we're all '90s kids.
Well, I'm like Scott. Like I said, I'd never seen it before.
I
Yeah.
was about 9 when it came out.
Oh, hush, Cecil.
Oh God, I had a family.
I remember watching it though.
When did it come out?
It had to come out in the early '90s.
94. I was 30.
Well, I'm glad I got
Thanks,
to
Cecil.
introduce this to y'all because it is one of my favorites, and it's again definitely this type of year movie.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I give it a 4.8.
Oh,
Cecil.
Since I'm going to be a hipster, I'm going to give it a 2.9.
What's the
Millennial,
reasoning behind that,
millennial.
Mr. Nasty?
Oh,
What's the reasoning behind it?
that
it's just it's one of those movies that I've watched a million times. I've been to a million parties where there's 7 people dressed up as the Crow. And it's just like, man, I'm burnt out on it. And I
Okay.
can't get back the love that I had for it when I was a child. So
Ah,
it's one of those situations. So yeah, 2.9.
Allie.
Alan.
Yes.
What are you giving it?
Oh, I'd give it a 4. I'd give it a 4. I enjoyed it. I don't know if I'd watch it again though, but I enjoyed it.
You have to be in the mood for it, but get the soundtrack.
Soundtrack is right.
Oh, you know me. I'm Night Ranger.
You
know.
might be. You might get something you.
I do
Like that
appreciate the grunginess of it because it was in '94 and at the end of the grunge era. So that
Yep.
was.
I would watch it again just to pick up things I missed the first time around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's not something that, like I said, you have to be in the mood for it, but it is a great movie. I'm going to give it a 5 because to me, it does hold up, and there's so many little things I just love about it.
I do remember trying to set my grandmother's yard on fire, trying to draw that crow with gasoline. So that kind of helped out.
Did it look like a crow or a duck?
No, it was a
or
big circle. I didn't have the artistic ability at that age.
Okay, well, let's we will do your movie, man.
All Hallows Eve.
Yeah.
No, All Hallows Eve. This is a fucking rocking movie. The opening scene gives you the idea it's just going to be another babysitter movie. It's a babysitter with two little kids sitting there watching Night of the Living Dead, so you know it's going to rock out if they're starting watching that when they're two little children. But they're going through their candy and they find a videotape, which time she pops it in the VCR, and you see this weird ass creature. It looks like a pig, but it's strange too. And then you get a glimpse of this clown, black and white, all black and white. So after finding the tape, they just after putting the tape in and everything, it turns into an anthology because it starts telling the story of this girl who's been kidnapped by this clown, but she wakes up in chains and everything, like chained up with two other people, and that kind of leads into just some crazy shenanigans and shit like that. I hate describing movies, but I love them, and but it is an anthology essentially.
Yeah.
But it awakens and it gives birth to one of the most badass, brutal characters ever, Art the Clown. This guy right here scares me to death. And they've done spin-offs and everything of it. But it's just a basic anthology. It has now the first scene has some unique monsters. Like whenever the girls escape, they run down this tunnel, and then they run into like a altar or whatever where they're getting ready to sacrifice these women, and you see all these unique monsters like they look like the plague doctors, but it's just their face, pigs and stuff like that. Let's see. Now the graphics in there are pretty cheesy, but they're brutal at the same time, which brutality in horror movies is what I love. That's what truly scares me. Let's see. So there's one part too. The next part, it's just this woman in the house that's running away from an alien. Do you remember the alien part in it? Did you watch it at all?
I did.
Was it swimming? Does it swim? It looks like it swims.
It looks like it swims.
Well, it's cool anyway. And so that goes on until you get to the clown. Now this girl is running away from this clown, Art the Clown, and she goes to a gas station and things, and it just pursues into craziness. Like the clown is after her, and it's extremely brutal. Because one of the first things that you see from this clown being brutal, this gas station owner, how did it work? He went inside to do something. She follows him inside, and you just see body parts laying everywhere. Which, if you love crazy, scary movies, that's something that I would go for. I'm sweating. I'm nervous and everything. Why am I nervous right now?
I don't know, man. You do this all the time.
It's because I
I do this all the time. Like I feel like I'm doing
You're not being judged, man.
You got an active chat room is what it is.
Yeah.
We've got the best people in our chat room.
Yeah. Look, my glasses are fogging up.
I don't know.
Anyway. But this really did give rise to this character, Art the Clown. And I don't know if you guys have watched Terrifier or Terrifier 2. These are the most brutal movies I've ever seen in my life.
I wrote Gore Fest. That was my comment.
That's exactly what it is. It is gore. That's all it is. It's just gore, gore, gore. And it's awesome. That's my favorite thing about it. And there's really no spoiler about it. That's just what it is. He kills everybody.
I would say that's probably a spoiler we need to put for people because it is really brutal.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's just brutal. It's brutality at the end. He's a monster. I love it, and I give it 4.5 dogs.
I'm with Landa. I did not like this movie. It was a little too graphic and gory for me. I don't like clowns though. I mean, not like I'm not afraid of clowns, but I just don't like them. What are you hiding?
But you hang out with clowns.
Yeah, but we don't wear the makeup.
I wasn't really a fan of it, so I did watch it. It was very gory. That last one, I mean, it was just
My issue is, I think the reason I'm getting off track with is because we watched this Terrifier and Terrifier 2 back to back last night. So
Did you
I'm
get
getting
Terrifier too?
I stole. It's illegal.
So, am I the only one looking at the thing moving behind Scott?
He's hungry. No,
It,
the cat's
he
playing
like
with him.
moves and he'll stop moving, and I'm like,
The cat's
Got a
playing with him, but I
poltergeist.
think it's a great
Got a
effect, so
poltergeist.
I'm not gonna say anything.
That's
If I knew
Scott's
that-
side piece right there.
But
Don't judge me.
if I had it do
No
over
judge.
again-
We've been there.
if I had it do over again, I would pick the Terrifier instead. Yeah, for
I'm
sure.
glad you picked this. You gave me a new franchise to fall in love with. I like Hadley. Clown movies. I hated Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Oh,
Sid Haig as Captain Spaulding. I like Sid Haig. Being a clown did not make that movie for me. Pennywise is it. Yeah, I love the movie, but not because he was a clown, but this one. The actor that played him in this, and then I immediately watched right afterwards the Terrifier. The actor that plays the clown is so good. I mean, that clown is psychotically eerie. It's almost like a psychotic mime. And then the scene when, at the last video,
I agree.
when she's seen her in the living room with Art behind her, but when she turns around, he's not there. But when she looks at the video, he's there.
yeah.
I just love this one. And then, yeah, when you go to see the Terrifier, and he is just a psychotic maniac. I have not seen brutality like this since the Serbian film.
The biggest thing with him too, which I think makes him even more terrifying, is that he's a completely silent character. Like he makes no sound.
Well, I
It's like
can
he enjoy-
appreciate this. This had a really good. It didn't seem cheap. It didn't seem like a B movie. It seemed like it had a good budget. But like I said, and I will say I did like Killer Clowns from Outer Space too because it was
Yeah.
kinda fun.
Hey Hadley,
That's-
I gotta read this because Joe's crying for attention.
I'm not good. I'm not good at this, babe.
Joe says, 1 star Cecil, I found your review to be anti-Semitic, misogynic. Joe must be drinking. Racist and homophobic. Also, you talk for 5 minutes and everyone's mentioned climate change.
I don't believe in climate change. Well, I believe in
Yeah.
if we're getting into conspiracies, we'll
No,
do
we're
that.
not.
That's a completely different show.
Like Lewis says, there's only no such thing as a good clown.
There is. Art
Yeah.
the Clown's a clown.
You know,
Bozo the clown.
No, there's no good
I
clown.
Did
I
you
watched
guys
this
ever,
movie.
just getting
Yeah.
off track, talking about like idols, did you guys ever see the Banana Splits movie?
Yeah.
No, I haven't
Yeah.
seen it.
Watch it. It is it's so bad.
It's horrible.
Is it worse than that Nicolas Cage movie?
Which one?
The one where he's fighting animatronics. He
Oh,
doesn't say
Willy.
one word.
What's it called?
Willie's Fun World. Or,
Willie's
Yeah,
Funhouse.
Willie's.
Oh, I don't
Yeah.
think I've seen that one.
I've
Oh, you
it.
got to watch that one. Yeah, you got to night. Was it Night at Willie's or something? Somebody will tell us. But that's
I
you
know
got to
it's
watch that
Tony.
one.
Tony, where are you? We don't have Rich. We need someone else to be on the ball.
Right? Okay, I watched this. I had to
Willie's
take
Wonderland.
a shower afterwards.
Yes,
Yeah,
Willie's Wonderland.
Willie's Wonderland. You got to watch that. I recommend that one. This one I had to take a shower after, man. I do not. I don't like torture porn. I
Well, that's my
don't-
thing. I don't
Yeah.
get scared anymore. Like movies don't scare me anymore, and this one truly give me chills. Like all three of them are like, oh, there's the chill that I had when I was a child.
Well, I could see that. I could see that because that clown's like a shark.
Yeah.
There's no mercy. No explanation, no mercy. Just, he's there and he obviously is enjoying it.
Well, I knew when I watched it, even though it did not have boobs or Nazis, Scott Baker was going to love it.
It don't have boobs in it. I
No,
guess Terrifier does.
see,
Well,
the movie was so good, I wasn't even looking at boobs. Oh,
Well, you
I'm
know,
gonna
I say the
call you.
trifecta for a Scott Baker
I'm
film.
calling Ash on this because me, and my cousin Robert went to see Hostel, and you and Rob were freaked out by that movie. So
Hostel's the definition of horror porn. Like
yes.
these movies with Art the Clown, yeah, they're horror porn, but they also have, you know, just the fear of stalking with it. Like, Hostel legitimately was horror porn. They just locked people up and cut them up into pieces, and there was a little bit of plot thing when the guy ran away or whatever. But this movie, he's he's I don't know. He's kind of a monster, kind of not a monster. He's just terrifying. Like, I, we
Well,
gotta.
you just don't know
we gotta
because
put-
it's a clown. You don't
Yeah.
know what's behind the mask or the face paint. You don't know what's there.
You don't, and he's laughing like at the end with that big scene at the end. You know, he's just laughing, and you're like, oh man, that's just. I mean, I get that. I get what you're saying, Cecil.
Yeah.
But this movie's just not my cup of meat.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
I don't like that. I don't like nihilistic movies, and I've said that before. But I write a serial killer as a bad guy in one of my series. You know, so I'm kind of messed up on that, but just watching it, I don't know. It always makes me feel bad. Like there's no hope, you know?
Yeah, it was very dark.
It
This
was
was
very
this
dark.
was a dark one. Like I said, I didn't like it. I don't know if it was the clowns. I don't know if it was the gore because it was just a little bit too gory for me.
Yeah.
But the
Well,
lack of hope, I think, Alan, I think you hit on something there.
You
It's
don't
just
need to
there's
watch
no.
Terrifier.
oh no,
Don't worry, don't worry.
I liked it because Art was human.
Yeah.
And
No,
to
that was
think-
Eli Roth.
And to think that a human, besides a writer, can think these insane ways of killing somebody and then go through with them with that fake laugh and enjoying himself. Oh,
Yeah.
that just got to me. I loved it.
Well, I think method acting, and then you look.
I mean, I get what you're saying, Cecil. I mean, it's terrifying. It really is.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I don't know. It made me feel bad, and that's the point of it.
Well, it'll give
You
you
know?
nightmares.
Yeah.
I can't get some of the gory imagery out of my head.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's horrible. It's awesome.
It is. It
I mean,
is
if I
very
saw Art the
horrible.
Clown, I'd probably crap my pants right there.
Yeah.
You know.
Don't come trick or treating at my house, buddy.
No, I get it fully. I know a lot of people that don't like it, but it's up there for me. It's in the top 10 for me for sure.
And a lot of people like it. You know, a
Yeah.
lot of people.
It's
like
got a cult following, doesn't it?
I
Yeah,
like what
that-
Mike
It's just
said.
I'm not going to be one of them because I didn't. It just kind of pushed my boundaries, I guess.
Yeah, I get that. With me too. It's kind of like.
And I think
It
that's
ter-
why I liked it, is because it was different.
Right.
You know, it challenged you. It was sort of like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm seeing that. I mean, as a movie, I mean, personally, I loved it. Watching it on a personal level, I would give it a 5. But overall, as a production, script, all that, I would give it a 3.5. But that still doesn't exclude the fact it's now in my top 25 favorite. Thank
Wow.
you.
Yeah,
Wow.
production was trash on it for sure. Like it was cheap. It was
Yeah.
Oh,
I see.
yeah.
I thought it looked good. I thought it had good actors. You know, I thought that it had good setup. I mean, it looked
just like the
like it
unique
had a
monsters.
budget. It was not what I would call a B movie.
Like the unique monsters in it was really what drew me to it the first time I ever seen it. And then that first scene, whenever they're in the altar or whatever, I forget what you call it, when they're killing somebody.
Yeah.
All those different types of monsters. Like you don't see monsters like that in movies.
I will make this one comment,
really
and then I'll
just-
shut up.
Distorted mind to make that stuff.
Yeah.
The cutting the belly open and taking the baby out after
Yeah.
Game of Thrones, or was it House of the Dragon did it?
Yeah.
It just looked fake.
I didn't know House of the Dragon did that.
Yeah.
I haven't
yeah.
watched it.
Oh, you should watch it. It's
really good.
it's really good.
But no, they did it, and it looked. I mean, it looked really real too when they
Yeah.
did the baby stuff.
Yeah, I did tell Whitney not to watch it till
Yeah.
later on because of all that. But the beginning scene where they're in the subway area, it reminded me of that British movie where people are after hours in the subway, and there's those subhuman people that are hunting them. I can't remember the name of it, but those creatures kind of remind me of those, like cannibalistic, mutated humans, and the special effects for the makeup was good. It was good on those.
And what I really liked too was that when she was watching the videotape, it had poor quality.
Yeah.
It looked like you were watching an old used videotape.
Yeah. So if I ever get a trick or treat bag with a videotape, no, I'll send it to you, Scott.
Okay.
We'll watch it together.
You could appreciate it.
Yes.
Well, I'll give this one a 1 because they did try, but it was not for me, and I would not recommend this movie.
I recommend it to everybody.
Stocky Hadley.
I'll give it a 2. It's because it's terrifying to me.
Oh, yeah.
It was scary, not the boo scary, but just the thought of somebody like that or things like that.
Yeah.
They did what they set out to do.
Oh yeah,
They did that. They did that. But no, I'm just saying on the gore, this is up there with I liked Hobo with a Shotgun better. Let's put it that way.
What? Hobo with Shotgun is a masterpiece, but
Don't tell Rich that.
You cannot diss a Rutger Hauer movie.
I did like it better. I mean, but we'll see. I would
What's
like I said, it
terrifying?
just had too much gore. Too
It
much
was
gore.
better than Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving, I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, Alan, let's. What are we all rating this one?
I'll give it a 2.5.
Oh, it's 4.9 in my book.
3.5.
I love it. It's the only movie that's made me uneasy in the past 15 years. So.
Well, it definitely made me uncomfortable. Cecil. That was
Yeah.
your goal.
And I like
Made
being
me
uncomfortable. So
Definitely.
I'm very uncomfortable right now. I've got a horrible toothache, so I'm eating orange.
Oh.
Oh, that sucks, man. Oh, I feel for you, brother. I feel for you. Well, okay, we're gonna go. Mine is Dog Soldiers.
I loved it.
And here we go. Basically, a British squad is sent on a training mission in the Highlands of Scotland against a special ops squad. Ignoring the childish campfire stories heard about the area, they continue with their mission and come across the bloody remains of the special op guys. And a fierce howling is pitching in the night sky. With 2 mortally wounded men, they make an escape, running into a zoologist by the name of Megan, just happens to be there, who knows exactly what hunts them. What begins as what they thought was a training mission turns into a battle for their lives against the most unlikely enemies they ever expected. And it's spoiler alert. I'm going to do this because I'm sure everybody's seen this one. Werewolves. And this one's great because it has. Well, they could have been. Sean Pertwee. What's his name? McKidd.
McSomething.
Yeah, McKidd plays the. He was in the short-lived January Man, which was a great series. And he was in Grey's Anatomy.
He was in Rome.
In Rome, yes. And then you have the guy from Game of Thrones who's friggin' in everything, and I love that guy. He plays the bad guy.
Onion Knight.
The Onion Knight.
Liam
Yes.
Cunningham, is that his name?
Liam Cunningham.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go up and say Max Crom every Friday, just about. You can catch our lovely Cecil Fletcher here on Weird Awakenings. Him and Henry Tully come over and talk weird stuff with us at 8 p.m. Eastern.
Yes.
Something like that.
Okay, I plugged you, and he also does the Where in the Folk podcast, and they're pretty freaking awesome.
I'm usually
he's
better.
A lot of fun.
Yeah,
He's a lot of fun, and he loves to talk in depth about The Wolf of Snow Hollow.
I love that movie.
Him and Tully.
I almost got in a fist fight with him over that movie.
I always bug him about that. He's just like shakes his head. But this movie's got some great werewolf effects. A lot of the werewolf movies, they show the werewolves too much, and the suits aren't up to par. This one, the suits are just cool. These werewolves are huge and they're menacing. And, it's what you want. Soldiers trapped in a farmhouse fighting werewolves.
Well, Alan, I've got some trivia for you. You
Yes.
probably know this because I know this is one of your favorite movies, if not the favorite. But they didn't use stuntmen for the werewolves. They used actual dancers.
And on stilts, right?
Yeah,
On stilts. So,
Thought you were going
but
to
they
say
wanted to get
actual
the
werewolf.
grace of a animal versus stuntmen.
see, I didn't know
That's
that
all.
about the dancer. I knew about the stilts, but not about the dancers. And
Well, if you watch it when they're at one point, like one of them is on the table, and you can just tell by the way they're moving. It's just very fluid.
ah, it's very gritty. It's very fun. The actors are all great in it. I love. There's a reference to the Matrix in there because one of the guys named Spoon, and when he gets attacked and they're looking for him and they find these pile of guts, and he goes, "Where's Spoon?" And Sean Pertwee says, "There is no spoon," and that's a direct reference to the Matrix. And it's just great. It's a lot of fun. If you love werewolf movies, this is one of the best modern day werewolf movies out there. And
Yeah, I'll agree with that. And I will also tell you this. You know the scene where they're stitching the guy up with the super glue?
mhm.
Jim Butcher puts that in one of his Dresden Files books, and it
Oh, okay.
references the movie.
Oh, okay.
Really?
Yeah, this movie's kind of iconic.
Mhm.
I forgot the guy that made it. He made The Descent, and what was it? Is it Apocalypse or it's a it's Armageddon? It's a virus movie. It's not as good. It's like Mad Max with a virus. It wasn't as good, but he's got another movie coming out that is set in like Iraq or Afghanistan, and it deals with creatures. I'm hoping it's as good as Dog Soldiers.
Well, that was another thing that I read about this was that it was about in when this movie came out and was available like for streaming or download or whatever,
Mm.
that it was the most watched movie in Iraq and Afghanistan by British SF soldiers and I guess their army or whoever was over
Mhm.
there. That was like that was their favorite movie they were watching.
I could see that.
Probably helped them fight the Ganondorf giant.
Yeah,
They're probably
probably
thinking,
did.
thank God we're not fighting werewolves, because it's our bullets aren't doing anything.
This
Yeah.
movie had two quotes that I hope I get to use in my life. The first one is when the guts got spilled. He said they won't fit, and he said, "Sure they will, mate." That made me laugh. And the other one was when Spoon was getting ready to get eaten by the thing. He said, I hope I give you the shits, you motherfucker." Or something like
Yeah.
that. I really hope to get to use that on something.
So Brett Palmer saying Doomsday.
Thank you. That's the movie, and that
What?
one's so.
And that had that chick from she does what is that show?
She did.
Strike.
Yeah, Strike Back. Oh,
Yeah,
Strike Back.
I love that show.
Love Strike Back. First season is the best.
Yeah, it is.
With the first season are the first with those two guys, the British and the American guy,
Hmm.
which the British guy plays an American and the American guy plays a British. Whatever. That's a great Strike Back. You ever see it? It's on what, Showtime or Stars or something like that?
Cinemax, mate? No.
Cinemax.
No.
It's a
Yeah,
I think
It's
when I'm
Stars.
watching
It's on
Cinemax.
Stars.
I think
It's good.
it's fun. The first
They have
4
some good shows
seasons.
on that one. Banshee's on there too, and I love Banshee. I don't know.
Banshee is good too. Yeah. See, we're going down the rabbit hole now.
Yep.
The thing with Dog Soldiers is if you have subtitles, put them on.
That's how I watched it, honestly.
Yeah, you got to watch it with subtitles because those guys, you're like, what? What do you say?
It took me about 30 minutes to get into this movie. Just because of I don't know what, but it just took me a little while. I think because of their accents.
Yeah,
But
that's it.
But yeah, it was great.
That's it. Like I said, and you can't go wrong with Sean Pertwee and Liam Cunningham in a movie. Those two guys rock. I think they put them in every movie that comes out of the UK anyway, or TV series. But
Well, I enjoyed it. This was my first viewing of it, and I will have to say that I'm going to give it a 4.
oh really?
Yeah,
This is the first time seeing it? Ah, cool.
I
Well-
saw this movie years ago. Didn't like it. So
Hmm.
I went into it with an open mind last night when I watched it. The movie's great. Don't get me wrong. The special effects are good. The acting is good. The script is good. The fight scenes are good. I just didn't like the movie. I'm not a huge werewolf fan. You know, yeah, when the big final fight scene when they were all attacking the cabin and they were fighting for their lives, I enjoyed that. But other than that, the movie just didn't ring with me. But I'm not saying it's a bad movie. You know, this is like you read Gone with the Wind and you're like, yeah, but I really didn't like the book. It doesn't mean the book is bad. It's just my opinion. I mean, as a movie, I would probably rate it 4.5, but I would never watch. I wouldn't watch this again.
Wow. Interesting.
Now, see, I would watch it again to see what I missed because of the fact that I wasn't picking up on the language.
Right. Watch it with subtitles. Definitely.
I will do that.
Because that got me.
I liked it a lot. As on the verge of a TNA, which is total nonstop action.
Oh, yeah.
Tony's saying Hadley approves all's good in the world, even though Scott's crapping on it.
I'm not
Tony, I have to say, you know, one of us has to have our bitch out every episode.
The one thing I liked about this movie
Kate
was the twist.
Beckinsale in skin tight leather.
Yeah.
I'll put up with a werewolf for that.
One thing I liked about this movie was the twist was very short lived.
Yeah.
Like it was just there in an instant and gone. Like
Right.
it just didn't really matter, which you could kind of see it coming because I mean you could just see it coming in a way.
Right.
It is a predictable movie in a way, but I liked it a lot. But since you got shit on All Hallows Eve, I'm gonna give it a 1. Give it All Hallows Eve, the Wolf of Snow Mountain.
Well,
No, I'll give it a 4. It's good. As far as the werewolf costumes and everything went, they were spectacular. Like you couldn't really beat those costumes and everything. It was good.
Yeah, they were. I mean, they don't take you out of the movie.
I mean, yeah, I'm not. That's weird. I'm not putting it down. I think it was one of the best werewolf costumes around. It was a great movie for that. It just didn't ring with me. So, but I still recommend it if you're a big werewolf fan.
Well, it's like
go ahead.
well, it's like when you were a kid, you know, like, oh, you got your army men, you know, and army men and werewolf, you know, that's what it was. I mean, it's like fucking cool, you know.
Yeah, but when I was a kid, it was army men and tanks versus werewolves.
Yeah, see?
Short battle.
You know, it's like in the bathtub, you got your dinosaur and your soldiers, you know. So, I mean,
I used to have dinosaur in a model of the Titanic. I did my own version of this.
The only thing I ever had to play with in the bathtub was little chocolate bars floating around.
Well, you got your Caddyshack.
Oh.
Well, one of the things I liked about it, I liked the repertoire between their unit
Right.
and how the bonds between the men and stuff like that. I really liked that, and I think they did it very well.
They did.
In a horror setting, which I think is probably difficult to kind of get that kind of connection going. Oh, by the way, I did see where the doctor from Grey's Anatomy, when he punched that guy who had his intestines hanging out,
Yeah.
he was really drunk. They got him drunk for that scene because they felt like that being drunk in that scene would be more authentic than not. And the second time he goes to hit him, he actually really did.
Oh,
So,
that's great.
some more trivia for you. But
Well-
now I love werewolves, and I'm always looking for a good werewolf movie. So I feel like this did it.
But how did you like that for the beginning when he's passed his special ops test and then he's got to do the deed?
That was the one problem I had with it, and I'm
Yeah.
going to tell you why. They would never have shot that effing dog unless that dog was dying, because it is worth probably $50,000 to $60,000 in training.
But it
that
just
guy, the CO was fucked up.
yeah, he was evil. It cemented how evil he was. You know, he's going to shoot a poor dog.
Again,
you know?
but and having been around people like this, you remember, one of my
Right,
exes was
right.
a dog handler. The dogs, when they're overseas, you put your life on the line for the dogs, because the dogs have like bounties out on them. But
But
the
Liam,
handler, so I'm just saying that's the problem I had with it, is they would not, someone who's military minded, even as fucked up as they are, would look at that dog as a piece of equipment, not as something that you can kill.
but see, now you're bringing reality into a werewolf.
I know.
And
I didn't bring it up. I did not
Ash
bring it
loved
up.
this movie. He gave it 34 dongs.
Go, Landis. Landis, the new queen of the dogs.
This movie did kind of make me realize how desensitized I was, because I can watch something like as horrible as Terrifier and laugh at it, but when I see them shoot that dog, I was genuinely upset. I was like, oh shit, he shot the dog. And like, if I watch All Dogs Go to Heaven, I'll cry. But I can watch a woman get cut in half on a movie, and
But
it's
you
hilarious.
see,
Well, thanks, Cecil.
that's us. We hate people. We love animals.
But he did have that dog at the end, and that dog survived. The other dog, Mike said, "What platform is this song? Is it what platform is this on? Is it's on? If that's what you mean, it's on Star. I saw it on Stars.
I'll look it up real quick.
I think it's on Spectrum, but we watched it on Stars. I did the free trial, just to watch this, which I'm going to cancel.
It was on something else though. It's on Stars, and let's see.
Was it Spectrum? Something.
No,
like
I just got it on Stars. I don't know.
I watched it on
Oh, I've got Stars. That's what I did. Watch it on Stars.
I watched it on the free streaming service I have.
Yeah. See, it's on a free streaming service I have, but it didn't have the subtitles. Hey, David, nice to see you. But
Tony's saying Amazon Prime and Hulu.
Yeah, but I wanted the subtitles, so that's why I got Stars.
Yeah, I've got to do something because I need my subtitles back. I can't see anything.
Right?
I worked with Brits and Australians for years. I pick up a lot of those languages.
They make up words, man. Squiffy. Stodgy. I mean, they make up whatever, This thing is carbuncly. It's like, what the hell?
I'm still not thinking out wicked googly.
Alan, where did they film this?
Scotland.
Was it in Scotland?
Yeah, in the Highlands there.
I'm lucky when it comes to language on that.
The scenery was really interesting.
Yeah, it was.
I'm lucky when it comes to language on that, because I speak fluent hillbilly, and it's very similar.
but do you notice when they blow up the farmhouse, it's a miniature? That's the one thing you could tell. It's obviously a miniature.
So on IMDb it says Luxembourg, Norway, and Glen Affric, Highland, Scotland. So
yeah, so probably the majority of it was those other places and not Scotland. His second unit stuff was probably Scotland. Just the background stuff. What the heck? What's Joe talking about?
I'm not sure Joe knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, he's lowballing us.
He's lowballing us tonight.
I think he's drinking, with his anti-semantics.
Joe was a Luddite until recently, so Alan knows all about miniature things. Craig, I'd ask your wife, but
what did Landa say?
I love you, Craig.
Landa, you can get it on Facebook. It's there too. I just didn't want to have it go down like it did last.
Landa, were you banned from Facebook, or did you just get off?
No, I posted the weird channel from YouTube everywhere.
You're Scott. Ash, you're a socialist? Oh, didn't know that.
Joe's saying we have to learn to stay on topic.
Mike Lewis, I'm going to listen to Dracula 2000 after. I heard some disturbing thing about Danny Masterson and Gerard Butler.
What'd you hear?
Okay, Danny Masterson is going through that rape trial, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And there was a party during the filming of that, and some lady she brought her daughter to a party there. Gerard Butler invited her, and I'm not saying that he did anything. Okay, I'm not saying he did anything, but she was Mickey'd, and her and her daughter came out hurting in various parts of their bodies, and so I'm hoping Gerard Butler had nothing to do with that.
Don't say that. You'll break my sister's heart. She would
Break
watch,
my heart.
She would watch 10 hours of Gerard Butler reading the phone book.
Gerard
Mike.
Butler, though, I've heard him say some kind of sexist remarks before, which kind of took the bloom off the rose for me. So
Yeah.
I'm not saying he did it, but I mean he definitely has the mentality of somebody who might partake in something that he shouldn't.
I mean, they're Hollywood
Right.
stars.
Yeah, 90% of Hollywood stars are like Art the Clown. So
Well,
Yeah.
that Danny Masterson, isn't he a Scientologist?
Yeah,
yes,
he's an ontologist.
and they
'Cause-
finally found out where Dave Miscavige is, so they subpoenaed him
Really?
because I guess apparently he knows, he knew about a lot of this stuff that was going on. So
Well, they've had a lot of women in Scientology come out to testify against him,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
like unheard of
Yeah.
because they're told not to do that.
and, it sucks because I like
Until they
Danny
are told to
Masterson
do
as
it.
an actor. You
Yeah.
got to figure a lot of them are dirtbags. So
Oh, yeah.
Well,
You know.
yeah.
And they cover it all up.
yeah,
You
They
know,
do.
if that was anybody else, the names would be all over the place. The cancel culture would be rightfully taking them down. But
right.
if
Yeah.
you're the Hollywood elite, you can get away with murder.
Yeah,
I'm trying to avoid going into
Alec.
conspiracy right now, so it's very hard when you talk about
right. We could do a whole show on this.
Yeah.
we ought to.
Oh,
do.
we're gonna do our true crime show on was it Hogan's Heroes?
Oh
Bob
yeah,
Crane.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We need to
I
get
want to
that.
be in on that one.
I do too.
I think that might have to be a couple of parts because there's so many of us that want to take on it.
Yeah. I used to love Hogan's Heroes.
Yeah.
That's one of those topics. Like I heard about it and I was like, no, and
Right.
just went on a deep dive doing research. I was like, oh my god.
Joe said we still haven't heard much from Epstein.
What I loved about Hogan's
Keep waiting,
Heroes
Joe.
was Werner Klemperer, who played Klink. His father, Otto Klemperer, was a big name conductor in Germany who had to flee Nazi Germany because he was Jewish. So Werner must have had the greatest time in the world making fun of the Nazis.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And then you had Robert Clary. He played the French guy, right?
Yes.
He was involved, right? And
He was in a concentration camp.
Yeah, that's right. And
Oh, David's reading the second book. Sorry, I had to have a
cool.
fangirl moment.
Nice. So what do we rate this movie? We'll
I'll give it a solid 4.
okay. Cecil?
2.5 dongs.
I know you're lying. I know you're lying.
4. I get 4.
Scott?
I didn't like the movie, but I still think quality-wise acting in that, I'll give it a 4.
Yeah, quality was awesome.
Yeah, I'll give it a 4 too because it's a fun movie, and like I said, one of the best modern werewolf movies. If you haven't seen Howl, it's a British werewolf movie. That's another good one. Check out Howl.
I'll have to check
Did
that
y'all
out.
see like Blood for Chocolate or what is the name
No.
of that?
Heard of
That
it?
is it's a werewolf movie. Ironically, it's but it takes place in Europe, but I think it's an American movie. But if you're looking for that was a pretty good werewolf movie. But again, it's more of like the paranormal romancy kind of stuff too. So it's not a hardcore soldiers killing werewolves. But it's pretty good.
I've heard of
Oh,
it. I've
okay.
never seen it.
It's hard for me. Like, I don't know why I just never lock into werewolf movies, but I love them when I see them. But they have to
Right.
be like somebody has to tell me to watch it before I watch it. It's weird. I've got a weird relationship with
Blood and Chocolate.
werewolf
Tony got
movies.
it.
Yeah, werewolf movies are like they've got this one with these Romans fighting werewolves, and I watched the trailer, and it just showed too much, and it looked too cheesy. And the werewolves were out in the daylight, so it's like, meh.
Werewolves can go out in the daylight, though.
Yeah, but they showed too much, of the suits, and the suits weren't even good as the Wolf of Snow Hollow suits. So it was pretty bad.
The only 2 werewolf movies I really enjoy are The Howling, and that transformation scene is fantastic, and American Werewolf in London.
What about
Oh,
Wolf
yeah.
on Mountain? Like,
Yeah.
Never seen
Yeah.
that one. I mean, come on, you gotta love a movie when one of the favorite lines is, "A naked American man stole my balloon."
That movie's classic.
Well, I suggest y'all watch Blood and Chocolate. It is on Pluto right now.
Sounds
Ah.
delicious.
And
That's pretty far.
It's got Hugh Dancy and Olivier Martinez in it. Agnes
Oh yeah, he played the
Bruckner
bad guy in
and
SWAT.
Katja Ryman.
It's on Pluto. You sure it's
Yeah.
not on Uranus?
It's not on mine. It might be on yours.
They say I got polyps on Uranus.
Gee, we just went down to the age 13 level here.
Right. Another good werewolf movie is one called Wyrd, W-E-R. That one it's pretty good. Check it out. It's worth checking out.
Now, where
Anybody
can
seen
where can I
Wyrd
watch
out there?
that? I'll see if I can find it.
Yeah, it's
Oh.
in
I have watched Wolf Cop, unfortunately.
I think it's French, but it's got some American actors in it.
I only like Teen Wolf 2 with Jason Bateman.
He says that's his favorite movie that ruined his
Is this the
career.
one? A defense attorney begins to suspect there might be more to her client who's charged with
Yes.
murder.
That's
Okay,
the
I
one.
think I might have seen that. Maybe I need to rewatch it.
It's a
And
pretty
it
neat
is
spin.
playing. Oh, it doesn't tell me where it's playing.
But
I can
watch
read
Howl.
Howl?
H-O-W-L. Howl. It's worth watching. People trapped on a train with werewolves. That's another good
Really?
one.
Oh,
He
yeah.
thinks you're being
Ooh,
trapped on a train.
that's on Freevee. I'm gonna check that one out too.
Yeah, it's worth watching. It was a surprise for me.
Well,
like,
I watched a good
Ooh.
Chinese werewolf movie, but they weren't really werewolves.
They didn't. Oh, no.
I know I told y'all to watch it. I can't remember what it was.
Huh.
But y'all know I go through periods where I watch a lot of Asian movies.
Well, aren't we special?
If you guys ever
No,
have
it's
me
until
back,
my eyes start hurting and I can't read them.
if you guys ever have me back, the next movie I want everybody to watch is Abraham Lincoln versus Zombies.
Oh my God, no.
Yeah.
Have you seen that one with Franklin Roosevelt, American Hero or something like that? Oh my
Yes,
gosh.
zombie killer or something.
Zombie
Yeah, where he put machine guns in his wheelchair.
with Barry Boston. I couldn't believe the actors that were in that. I mean, it's funny, but it's horrible.
Yeah.
But
Well, it's funny because I think it was meant to be horrible.
Yeah.
Those are
Yeah.
usually the best movies, the ones
Yeah.
that are meant to be shitty, but they end up being awesome.
Yeah. I couldn't believe the people that were in it though. It's hilarious. And
Oh, I love it. I love Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. This movie, Abraham Lincoln Zombie Hunter, looks like we all had beers and decided to film this in some fort somewhere on a Sunday afternoon.
Hey, Tony K says Hal is a good movie. Is really good. So
It must be. We know Tony knows his stuff.
he does. So.
Late Phases. It's on Tubi.
Oh, I've heard it's good. I haven't seen it, but I've heard it's good, Tony.
If I ever win the Powerball, we'll make a really good werewolf movie.
What would?
If we're going to talk werewolves, there is an independent film out there. A friend of mine made it. Bubba the Redneck Werewolf.
Oh, I own that.
Isn't that a great movie?
I still haven't watched it. It's
Oh
on-
my God, watch it.
I
I'm
remember
friends
talking
with
about that
several
guy.
of the guys. My favorite scene in the movie is when they go zombie hunting.
Mm.
I laughed my ass off during that scene. But it's an independent film. It was made, produced, directed, all by a bunch of people who had day jobs and did this at nights and the weekends. It's a fantastic movie. Highly recommend.
Wow. Now, there's an indie writer. His name's David Rubin, and he made a movie. He's got a character that's a paranormal investigator, and he actually made a werewolf movie of one of his books.
Is this it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
So what's the name of this movie, Alan?
I can't recall it right now, but it'll come to video soon. He's having a premiere this month in his town in Washington.
Talk to him. Tell him.
Oh yeah, I'll talk to. Yeah, we'll get Dave. We can get David on there. I'm sure. He's an indie writer. I did some anthologies with him. He was really instrumental in my getting in anthologies when I first started. So yeah, I'll hit David up, see if we can get him on the show, interview him.
I was gonna ask you guys, and Cecil, while you're here, I'll ask you too. What do y'all think about maybe trying to get some people who write movies and stuff on to talk with us occasionally?
That'd be good.
I'm not part of that. Yeah, man.
I might be able to get
for
someone.
sure.
We need to get Angel back on.
Angel?
Zombie with a shotgun.
Oh, Ariel.
Ariel.
Yeah, he contacted me. We were supposed to get back in touch with him. We never did.
Probably because I called him Angel. He probably said, "What?"
It was Angel. I'm calling him Angel now. Ariel Ruiz
Mark
or something.
Lewis. Yeah.
It's like he had 3 names, though, didn't he? He was really cool. I liked him.
Yeah.
He was very helpful.
He would be good to have on. So we'll try and get him on again. And I'd love to get the Aquarium of the Dead guy on again.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Maybe we should try and reach out to some people like that just to kind of.
You mean you
Yeah.
talked to the
That's
guy
really
who did
good idea.
Aquarium of the Dead?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
we did a show.
Oh
interview with
man, that movie is
Glenn
so
Miller.
bad. It's great.
Glenn Miller. Well, he did Zombies.
He
Zombies
contacted
2.
us.
Yeah.
Zombie. Oh, I love that one.
Yeah, he did Zombie 2. He did a lot of the either second unit director or directed a lot of the Asylum movies.
But
And
he
he was
was
really
moving-
good.
He was moving to Hallmark films, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
Lifetime movies.
Yeah. He had a movie in mind that he always wanted to do, like the Sandlot type of movie. And he was getting ready to move on that. But
Yeah.
Glenn Miller, we should get him on. We had, it was when we first were doing Watching Weird, and it was a
And these are
great interview.
Yeah,
And he
these are
was
people
nice.
who would contact me off Twitter. I just need to get my Twitter game back up.
Have you
Yeah.
ever watched Redneck Zombies?
I have.
No.
Redneck Zombies. If you could get anybody from there, that'd be awesome. That came out in like the 80s, though. I don't know if they're still alive. That's a good one, though.
No, I haven't seen it.
There's a guy runs around holding a shoe the whole time,
Hey.
and then but he's tripping on mushrooms, and then when he finally comes off of it, it's a liver.
Hey, Craig, we're friends with DA. Occasionally pops in and says hi.
Yeah. DA is a good guy. I've been on his show before. He's a good dude. I like his books. He actually offered me to write in his world, but
Really?
but you know me, I'm horrible. I don't like to promise people that because I'm so slow at writing.
Yeah.
But it was an honor. I felt honored.
Yeah.
And so maybe someday I gotta finish my books. I'm not like Scott.
I know, right? Scott's like the man.
Yeah,
Scott's
but
a
I'm up
machine.
till 4 a.m. writing. I go to bed. My wife's alarm goes off at 6 o'clock, and the dogs are all over me like Buscemi's werewolf in the Hotel Transylvania.
Tony's fangirling. He's saying you got to do that.
I don't know if I should talk about it or not, but he offered me. He even sent me stuff, and so I may do that. I love his writing. He's really cool. And I'm not really cool. So it was an honor, though. So
You are very cool.
See, Craig's in your corner.
I know.
Yeah, right. Thank you, Craig.
Well, it rush perfection, isn't that right?
I love Craig.
No argument there, Ed.
On the mystery pooper, no, there's not.
What's
So
that?
is it a little
this
dog
one.
or a big dog?
It's a little dog. They have video of the lady, but they don't know video of where she's coming from. And I sat out there for an hour today, and
You have a phantom pooper?
Yeah, see, I do security at this golf course and millionaire housing area. It's beautiful out there. It's in the mountains near Tahoe. Beautiful. And this guy has this lady that has a dog that poops on his lawn. He's got excellent cameras, and he put up signs and stuff, and he's been writing us, can you catch her? Can you? So my boss is like, go out there today for an hour and go sit out there and watch. And
you're going to have to get like investigative with this. You're going to have to be hiding in bushes and shit for hours on end.
Right?
Wear a
Is
dog
this
outfit.
your poop?
Take it to a lab, get it analyzed.
Is this it?
I can picture Alan like Agent 13, like sitting there with a fire hydrant.
Yeah, right. Let me match the poop with the dog.
Are they wanting you to tase this person when you catch them? Or?
I said, I'll just shove her up against the truck. You know
Just
what I'm
give
gonna
her
say,
a bag
lady?
and tell her to go pick up the whole golf course.
You get it, Ash. Yeah. What am I gonna do? You know, tell her, hey, lady, you can.
You take the picture of her and you show her the picture and you
And then
say,
you
"This is
blackmail her.
unacceptable, lady."
You should that's when you blackmail somebody. Like, I know it's you.
If she's letting her dog poop on the course and not picking it up, she doesn't care.
Right. And these are millionaires. They're all millionaires, right?
She'll get Alan back by pooping on the course herself.
People don't like it when you do that. Come to find out.
Take DNA samples.
All right, guys. Well, that's an hour and a half, so we're going to wrap it up.
All right.
Y'all tell everybody what you're working on and where they can find you.
Scott, why don't you go
Okay.
ahead?
Chronicles of Paul 2 is coming out. Errand of Mercy is coming out this Saturday. You can still pre-order it on Amazon for $2.99. Then it goes up to $3.99. The print version should be out this weekend or early next week. For those of you that get my newsletter, the second part of the Tales from the Nurse Alyssa universe, Sheriff McPherson, will be coming out at the end of the month. And other than that, let's see, I'll be in Salem this weekend, Salem, Massachusetts. Right near Derby Square, I'll be signing copies of my paranormal and some of my zombie books if you happen to be in the area.
Very cool. Very cool. Hadley?
Well, I was going to let our guest Cecil go.
Oh, Cecil.
You can catch me on Weird Awakenings every Friday at 8 p.m. on the Weird Realities network, I guess. All right.
Yeah.
And Wearing the Folk, I'm currently doing research for our next episode. I'm hoping that it'll drop next month. We're going to get back on a more regular schedule. The next one is about serial killer Samuel Little, which is a very unknown name in the serial killer community. So,
Did you say Sean Little?
Samuel Little. It's
sorry.
That's
redneck
my
accent.
voice. Sorry.
And OnlyFans, you can catch me there every Thursday.
Hey, hit me up with your
But to
address
the
for that.
people that follow this show get a discount.
Yes, $3.50 for anybody that follows Weird Awakens. Anybody else? Weird Realities. Anybody else has $5 subscription. So.
I charge $5 for you to get the subscription, but $100 for you to get rid of the subscription.
Well, good news is I have a bidet, so it's very clean down there. So.
Whoa.
Bidet porn. I gotta check that out.
Take my money, Cecil. Take my money.
Well, y'all know that Weird Realities is turning 2 on Halloween, and we will be starting our third season on November 1st. So y'all be on the lookout. We're going to try and throw some fun stuff together for y'all for Halloween, and Scott is going to launch our season 3 on, I guess, November 1. That's what, Tuesday?
Yeah.
And we have a new person on board with us by the name of Bethany Stutzman. She's another author, and she will be starting a new show sometime soon.
Nice.
So y'all be on the lookout. And we're also doing our FM radio stuff. I don't know how long it's going to take me to get enough people before we can start it, but that is going to happen. And I've got a new book. It's currently at the editor. It's Dawnbreaker, House of Blood and Sun, and that'll be coming out hopefully in November.
Nice. And folks, read Hadley. She is an excellent writer. Really.
Oh, you're so sweet.
Really. Excellent. Blows me away. Scott blows me away too. Hadley, that short story you wrote really, really grabbed me.
I've now kind of in a lull, Alan. I've been thinking about what I could do next with that.
Well, you should expand it, right, Scott? That was the vampire
Yes.
one? That was good. I'm still waiting on Hunt the Night to be released. The company that I did it for, they do indie movies and books and stuff. So they've been involved in getting their movies going and stuff. So they've kind of pushed it to the side. But I really want this one to get out there because it's different. It's a Mad Max apocalyptic story, and it's really different for me. No zombies in this one at all. And I think it's kind of a fun book. I'm trying to finish Operation Zulu 4, wrap that series up. That's hard because I want to make it good, and for once. And also, I'm working on Falling Darkness, trying to get that one done. I pulled it out of Ella, and I'm trying to make it into a novel, so I'm going back through it. And also, I've been re-editing Salvation because I really screwed up on the edit on that. So I've been working on that too, and I'm going to resubmit the manuscript to Amazon to get rid of the old one and put a new one in there. So
Look at you go, Alan.
So I've been working.
You have been. All
But
the stuff is happening.
It's not 10 years yet, so something may come out before then. I don't know.
Well, I'm excited. Lots of new good books going.
So
If you're sending out free copies, I'll take a few.
hey, PM me because I got some books going out on Tuesday. I'm sending out books, so PM me your address, Cecil.
Oh,
You can get a taste of what I write.
nice. Oh no, I'll buy it. I'll buy it. Right.
No. PM me, I will send that to you.
We try, but it's easy for us to stay awesome.
Yeah, it is, David, and you stay awesome. You stay awesome too. Close to San Diego.
By the way, we also have a new poster for Watching Wyrd coming out that I can't wait to show everybody, but I haven't got it back from getting the edits done yet.
That was pretty cool, except for one of the things on it. It's cool. It's a cool poster. I like that.
I'm glad to see it.
All right, guys. Well, we will see y'all hopefully Monday and Tuesday, but if not, definitely next week when we are going into movies with goo. Isn't that what our theme is for next week?
That's what Rich is the master of the movies next month. He's picking out the November movies. And we're gonna have treats like last year when we had our special Thanksgiving show, our turkeys. We're gonna have our turkey show where we pick turkeys that we want to share with you. Feel our pain.
That's where you got Thanksgiving.
Yep. And
I think I have the movie. My turkeys aren't like y'all's turkeys, though. My turkeys are usually stuff that leave you going, what the fuck did I just watch?
well, I'm going to tell you ahead of time, so it gives you plenty of time to watch it, is The Fanatic with John Travolta
Oh, that movie's awesome.
and Devin Sawa.
Never heard of it.
I love that movie. Directed by Fred Durst.
Yeah, by Fred Durst. That's right.
I love that movie.
So we'll have the complete list of the movies coming up. We'll have next week's movie shortly for you, so you can look at them if you haven't seen them yet.
Yes, Rich Restucci's been on vacation this week, but hopefully he'll be back with it this weekend. We can get an idea of what he has in mind for our next upcoming movies.
Right. And hey, Cecil, thank you for joining us. It was a pleasure
Cecil.
having you, man.
Yeah, we did enjoy it.
Hope your tooth feels
And you had
better,
a
bud.
great movie.
Oh yeah, it feel better when I cut it out with a butcher knife tonight.
Is that what's on your OnlyFans? No,
All right,
thank
guys.
you. Thank you for joining us, man.
Yeah.
We'd love
Thanks,
to have you back.
everybody.
Happy Halloween.
Yes. Happy Halloween if we
Halloween.
don't see you before then. Another great show. Thank you, folks. Thank you.